Welcome into the second instalment then of MLS pre-season broadcasting on MLSsoccer.com live from the Walt Disney World Pro Soccer Classic and the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex in Kissimmee, Orlando, Florida. Philadelphia Union taking on Toronto FC. To the lineups we go then, and of course we'll start with Philadelphia Union. Your thoughts on the lineup, Corey?
Yeah, definitely a team that's trying to mix things up. Probably not their first team that's going out there right now, but still need to look at players. Connor Casey up top. Let's see how his fitness goes, and very excited about that. A very special player in terms of Daniel being in the middle.
And of course, Toronto FC, the opponents for Philadelphia Union, coming off a really poor season, finishing rock bottom of Major League Soccer. Lots of changes there. Busamonde and O'Day retain their centre-half partnership, though.
Something special that they're trying to build that camaraderie in terms of the middle of the park. It's something that you're going to see throughout the whole of preseason, especially from a coach like Ryan Nelson, who's in a central position and knows how important it is to build relationships. So those two are something special to see. Welshman, who's impressed me all preseason. We're very excited to see him.
So here we go then, Game 2 of this afternoon's proceedings, an all MLS affair once again, an all Eastern Conference affair once again here. Philadelphia Union taking on Toronto FC. Callum Williams and Corey Gibbs, your commentary team. Richard Eckersley, eager to get proceedings underway quickly. So long ball over the top. One in mid-flight there. Morgan. It's Taylor Morgan, of course. So once again, don't forget, if you have any questions about these two teams, this particular game, or Major League Soccer in general, you can tweet your questions to myself and Corey by tweeting at CalWilliamsSKC. Once again, that's at CalWilliamsSKC. This will be Hoppano. Ball to the right-hand side for Roger Torres. Connor Casey now. Record goal scorer for Colorado Rapids, of course. Ball over the top. To the arms of the goalkeeper. Bendick.
We speak about that pairing with O'Day and Busamonde in the middle. You got to wonder, is Caleb going to be left out of that team? He's definitely a structured and experienced player.
There's a chance on the right-hand side, Morgan. Thwarted eventually in the end by Murby Akugo, and that'll be a corner ball to Toronto FC.
Such an experienced player, but he's still going to give all he can on and off the field. I've had the pleasures of playing with him, and regardless of starting or not starting, he's definitely going to contribute a lot to the team.
So the options are there, as you can see on your screen. Luis Silva, in his second year in Major League Soccer, to take this corner ball for Toronto FC. Towards the edge the ball goes, it's allowed to bounce there. Busamonde was causing problems. Silva with a second chance here for TFC. Silva, good ball towards the back post, and it's straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. What a chance that was for Toronto.
Well, great take, great ball in, great header. It's definitely a hard one to take, and unfortunately it was straight to the goalkeeper.
Here come the Union down the right-hand side. Connor Casey lurking, and Busamonde is there to clear away for Toronto FC. Connor Casey. Terry Dunfield in the midfield as well. Now it's Darren O'Day in his first full season in Major League Soccer. Of course, previously plied his trade in the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Loan spells in the second tier of English football with the likes of Leeds United and Reading when they were in the Championship. Ball hanging in midfield at the moment. Dunfield again. And the lacy legs in midfield. Bennett. A late draftee pick, Ashton Bennett, much to the surprise of many around the world of Major League Soccer. This will be Terry Dunfield now, the former Vancouver Whitecaps man, to take this free kick.
You know, it's good to see Torres starting for Philadelphia today. I think he's had a pretty good preseason. He just needs to contribute more and just do a lot more for the team than he did last year. He's a special player for them who could, you know, be very creative. So it's good to see him get a go at from the beginning and see what he could do.
Ended up into the air. Ball to the right-hand side. This is Silva. Richard Eckersley. Ashton Bennett. Eckersley again for Toronto FC. Bennett. Silva. Tries to slip it through. And it went down. Nothing given by the referee though. No appeal either. Silva. Nearly slipped it through there for Bennett, didn't he? This is Keon Daniel now for Philadelphia Union. Ball just evades the run of Connor Casey.
Philly's just got to do better with the ball. There's too many unnecessary giveaways in their defensive third, and now in the middle of the park, they just got to keep the ball down and start playing simple. It's too early in the game to be giving balls away like that.
Emery Walshman on the far side. A super draft pick, of course, from Toronto FC this year. Walshman still battling. This is Keon Daniel for Philadelphia Union. Roger Torres. Casey can sense something here for the Union. Torres, ball deflects. Another chance here for Roger Torres. Michael Lahoud. And now it's the turn of Toronto FC here. Silva to the left-hand side now for Morgan. Morgan, a player who, of course, scored in Toronto's last outing. The opener against Orlando City, and a 3-0 win for Ryan Nelson's men. Busamonde with a powerful header away. Torres again in midfield for the Union. Chris Albright. And for his hometown club now, of course. 33 years of age, had a 14-year career in Major League Soccer.
We've seen him all over the pitch, huh? We've seen him right back. Today he's playing central back. We've seen him up top at the beginning of his career. Such a versatile player, and he's still pushing on. It's good to see somebody like that with such a long career.
Here's a player from Greece, a trialist for Philadelphia Union, Karthis, and that's his Hoppano pushing forward. Hoppano with a low drive, and already the Philadelphia Union are on the board. Antoine Hoppano with a goal for the Union, and they lead 1-0.
Well, I mean, great finish. Like I said, that half a chance. That's all you need as a forward or attacking-minded player. Puts it straight on his left foot, shoots it far post, catches the goalie off guard, and it goes side netting. Good goal for the Philadelphia Union.
Antoine Hoppano with his first goal of the pre-season. Much as expected of that young man this year. Born in Paris, raised in New Jersey. Perhaps the rights of the US men's national team, the lights of the US men's national team, are starting to sparkle for that young man in the future. 4 goals in 25 MLS appearances last season for Hoppano. He's off the mark here today. A free kick to TFC. Of course, coming off a season not to be remembered in Toronto, finishing rock bottom of Major League Soccer. Dunfield. Lovely in-swinging ball. It was begging for some sort of connection, which never came.
Oh, it's a great ball in from Dunfield. It's just somebody needs to be there and just, committing themselves into that run. You have big bodies up there up top. Just go straight into goal and just put a head on that one.
So we're underway once again here. Philadelphia Union and Chris Konopka. 1-0 to the Union already. Antoine Hoppeneau with the opening goal in the opening minutes. Connor Casey doing exactly what he was brought in to do. Bennett. Lahoud. A free kick in the way of Toronto FC. Once again, don't forget, if you have any questions for myself or Corey about this particular game, these two teams, or Major League Soccer in general, give us a tweet at Cal Williams SKC. That's at Cal Williams SKC. We'll do our best to answer your questions throughout the broadcast. Here's Eckersley down the right-hand side for Toronto FC. All read by Lahoud. This is now Roger Torres, the little Colombian in midfield.
Great feat by Torres. She just shows a skill and composure on the ball, and you need something like that to calm a game down in terms of, for the Philadelphia Union. Some good feet by the youngster.
Torres. Ball to this left-hand side. This is Chris Albright. Carfes to Torres. Once again, apologies if you are picking the wind up here. Bennett with a strong challenge there. So throwing then to the Union. Lead Toronto FC by 1-0. Carfes. Back heel from the Greek midfielder. Now here's a chance for the Union again. Roger Torres. Carfes. Left-footed effort. Goes well over the intended target. That'll be a goal kick to Toronto.
Yeah, definitely. But questions are being raised again in terms of Toronto's defense. Who's going to step up on those midfielders, making those runs in from the midfield and taking those shots? They've already let up one goal in that aspect, and then Carfes gets another chance right there. Toronto's defense has to step up, put some pressure on the ball, and, deny those type of chances. It's just too easy. Here's Lahoud. To the left-hand side here. Connor Casey, offside. So Joe Bendick to get us underway again. Long ball played forward. Ball goes out ahead of Darryl Russell, a new trialist for Toronto FC. Of course, had time in the English Premier League with Norwich City. Most recently played his trade in League One, the third division in England, with Portsmouth. Now playing at left back. I think Albright so far has done well with his defensive responsibilities. Centre back not being his main position, but he's held up well so far in terms of structuring things. He's experienced enough to know how to structure that defensive line, so it's been pretty good so far.
Casey and Hoppeneau battling. Carfes beaten on the ball. Torres winning back possession. Dunfield doing exactly the same for the Union. A free kick to Toronto FC. The Union leading Toronto by 1-0 here. Here's Russell, playing in a left-back role today. Played his trade in midfield for most of his career. Here's Dunfield of Toronto FC. OD. Long ball over the top. Just hacked away in the end by Albright. And throwing beckons deep inside the Union half. Russell. Morgan. Trying to get half a yard, he does so. Took a deflection on the way through. Corner ball to Toronto.
But the big man's done well, I think, up top there. You know, he's held him off, has had a spin on it, he's had a good right-footed shot. He's done well for Toronto.
Ball played in. Goalkeeper doesn't quite get there. Neither does Bennett. They get a second chance here, though. Clash with Keon Daniel, nothing given by the referee. Now this is the turn of Philadelphia Union. Roger Torres now pushing forward for the Union. Casey and Hoppano pushing forward. This will be Connor Casey on the right-hand side for Philadelphia. Casey awaiting support. The chance still very much alive here for the Union. Torres once again. Skipping past Welshman, and the chance goes beckoning for Philadelphia. Ball in from that right-hand side. Keon Daniel was lurking. Abusa Monde clears away. Now Albright will allow the ball to just trickle out of play on the far side. Taylor was lurking though.
Again, Toronto just can't get themselves on the ball. It's just too many long balls that have been happening. The pressure by the Philadelphia Union has been good. And it's just been too much for Toronto to try and break the pressure. I think they need to stay composed and try and get a grip of this game and play 1- and 2-touch football and build some possession instead of so much long ball to play up top to Morgan, who's 6'5", and just have him hold it up by himself.
Taylor Morgan, of course, a supplemental draft pick this year for Toronto FC. Here's Eckersley. Product of the Manchester United Academy, Eckersley. Here's Michael Lahoud. Daniel. Terry Dunfield doing what he does best in midfield, just snapping at the heels of the Union midfielders. Cafes. Dealt with by OD. Emery Walshman. Skips past the Greek trialist Cafes. Walshman again on the left-hand side for TFC. Picked up by Cafes.
Walshman needs some more support there. I mean, everybody's just drifting away from him. He's just left by himself, stranded out there on the left-hand side. If he's making that run, a forward or midfielder has to check for that and create something from there. It's been very stagnant for Toronto. They just need to start picking their game up a bit more. Almost look tired, you know, from the games and the trainings that they've had.
Chance here for the Union. Bennett on defensive duties. Ball comes across. It's dealt with awkwardly, but effectively by Richard Eckersley, the former Manchester United man. Corner ball to Philadelphia Union. So Roger Torres now with the corner ball for Philadelphia. Torres. Ball towards the front post, Connor Casey. And his effort turned off the line there from Emery Walshman.
Great effort by Connor. He turns nothing into something on that one. Definitely great effort. He's looked bright. I think he's, you know, first 18 in, he's made some good spiraling runs to the left and right flanks instead of just staying central. And he's done fairly well for the first 18, 19 minutes. It's good to see a fit Connor Casey back, and it should be definitely something big for the Philadelphia Union.
Connor Casey, of course, had success in Colorado with the Rapids, didn't he? He's their record goal scorer, Connor Casey.
Prolific goal scorer. You know, I've had the pleasure of playing with him when I first came back from Europe, and there's nothing that he couldn't put in the back of the net. He was so great at his craft and what he was doing before he got hurt. I think 50 goals and 101 career MLS starts. It's just something special, you know.
Here's Bennett. Silva still has the chance here. Silva. Chance here. Bennett unable to find his feet. This is Jeremy Hall, formerly of Portland Timbers. Welshman. Touch takes him away from his man, Emery Welshman. And a chance for Hall. His touch lets him down there. And the Union can breathe a sigh of relief. Darryl Russell. Into the arms. And the possession of Philadelphia Union. And a chance goes beckoning there for Toronto FC.
I mean, maybe Welshman just needs to be selfish on that one and take a strike on goal. But he's done well to beat his defender, and that's why, for me, he's been one of the standout draft picks in this year's draft. He's been great all preseason, and I think Toronto spotted that, and he's going to get his chance. That's for sure. He's definitely going to get his chance in 2013 and create something special.
Of course, taken as 16th overall in this year's MLS Super Draft. Played college soccer at Siena and Oregon State. Ball forward. Something here for Morgan to chase. Okugo. Working his way out of the back there. Taken down by the combination of Bennett and Silva. So Don Anding now will take this for Philadelphia Union. More about this Greek trialist, Kefas in midfield for the Union. Spent 7 years playing for AEK Athens in Greece. 138 appearances and 18 goals. He's an experienced midfielder. Kefas in the midfield for Philadelphia, on trial with John Hackworth's men. They have a chance here as well. Daniel towards the back post. O'D away from Casey. Emery Welshman making sure. Albright. There's Kefas. Daniel. Watching the return run there from Anding. Not on the same wavelength there.
Good thought by Philly. Great thought by Philly. Good ball possession.
So here we have the goal from earlier on. Antoine Hoppano working his way through a whole host of players. Lovely finish, wasn't it, as well?
Lovely finish, but what is Toronto doing? You got to step to the ball there and put some pressure on that shot. It's just too easy for Philadelphia to score that goal, but you know, can't take away the brilliance of the finish on there. He had half a chance, takes it with his left foot, catching the goalie off guard, and puts it in the back of the net. Great goal for the Philadelphia Union.
Question coming in from Twitter for you here, Corey. Who do you think, from all of the Toronto FC draft picks, will have the biggest impact on the team this year?
Welshman, hands down for me. I've been high on him from day one since I've seen him at this Disney Classic. Didn't know anything about him coming into it, and I've seen what he could do.
Connor Casey inside the box here for Philadelphia Union. Torres working his way around Aguisamonde. Torres once again for the Union. Okugo. Torres dropping deep. Very much given a free roll once again by John Hackworth. Albright. Okugo. Keon Daniel. Okugo in that advanced position. Here's Connor Casey holding the ball up, but he's beat to it by Dunfield. Now it's Silva. Calfair's doing well, albeit momentarily. Dunfield and Ashton Bennett now for Toronto FC. A chance of the equalising goal. Ashton Bennett. Twists and turns, tries to find a way past his man. Ball falls over to the right-hand side for Castle. Daniel. Roger Torres. Oppono looking for Casey. D is there causing problems. Anding. Ball is charged down superbly on the far side. That'll be a corner ball to Philadelphia Union.
But again, Anding's done well on that left-hand side. I think he's been playing very structured on that left defensive back position and getting forward and getting crosses in. So it's good to see that for the Philadelphia Union, joining in the attack and causing troubles for the Toronto FC team.
The corner beckons. Torres outswinging this time, just evades the head of Chris Albright. Now this is Darryl Russell. Jeremy Hall into Terry Dunfield. Of course, Dunfield, a player who came from the youth academy of Manchester City. Full spells with the likes of Macclesfield and Shrewsbury Town in the lower reaches of English football. Emery Walshman. Busamonde. Odi. 9 starts for him last year when he joined at the midway points of the MLS season. Busamonde, one of several new additionees for this TFC side.
The play's just way too slow for Toronto right now. It's just left to right, taking 2 or 3 or 4 touches on the ball. Just going from center back to center back. They just can't find any options going forward. Jeremy Hall's been hiding in the middle. Dunfield's been hiding in the middle. They just need to find more options. Creative, being up top. Silva's got to get on the ball. Welshman's got to get on the ball. And they just got to do more. Every time it goes in the midfield, another turnover. It's been good pressure from the Philadelphia Union so far.
And Toronto FC under the guidance of Ryan O'Leary, the assistant coach, this afternoon, because Ryan Nelson is back in England. We're told from Toronto FC that he's sorting a few things out. Not quite sure what they are, but he is, of course, as well, obviously, in my opinion, speaking to a few players. We mentioned it the last time we talked about Toronto FC, Corey, the fact that Ryan Nelson is obviously going to have some connections in England, having played there for a long time.
Oh, definitely. You know, it wouldn't surprise me that he's over there talking to players. He has those connections, and preseason's the best time to do it. You know, take some time off. He might have to move his family back and bring all those things back, but outside of that, he just definitely has to get some other players and join some key links for this club. You know, another huge player that's missing from their team right now is Torsten Fringe, who's back in Toronto. So, you know, those are key elements that are away from the team right now, and hopefully it doesn't affect them this preseason with distractions going into the regular season.
Of course, without the injured Danny Kuvermans as well, Toronto FC have been for a long time. There were reports from several sources over the last few days that Toronto and Kuvermans were talking about a buyout of Kuvermans and his contract. But over the last few days, again, it was dismissed by official sources from Toronto. Casey. Anding. Chance inside the box here. Swept away by O'D.
Well, once again, Anding's been superb. Just coming out of that left back position. He's done well so far the first 28 minutes.
Ball falling kindly there for the Union. Rather fortuitously. Hoppano against the Busamonde. Touch lets down Antoine Hoppano. Goal kick to Toronto FC.
Yeah, he's got to do better with that one. Definitely think he saw Gale coming up on him and he let the touch elude him. He's definitely got to keep it closer to his body, try and even knock it off the defender and get a corner kick. Get something out of that play.
Just off the subject here, Corey, speaking of MLS briefly, what are your thoughts on a potential new team in New York City? Because there are a lot of other potential franchises around the United States, i.e. Orlando City, but it does seem as though the league are concentrating on New York, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they want another team in a big city as New York. It makes sense. You know, they're a structured team, and they're a team that's given MLS teams a problem. And I think they have that infrastructure, and if they decide to build a stadium, then they could be something special. So it doesn't surprise me if they're going to be in the league in the next coming years. They have all the resources that they need, a good base of a team, and with the additions of other players that they will get, I think it'll be big for the city also, and for the state, so, and big for the MLS.
So if you've just joined us, it is 1-0 to Philadelphia Union. Antoine Hoppeneau opening up the scoring in the first few minutes for the Union. Toronto FC guided by the assistant coach O'Leary this afternoon. Ryan Nelson back home sorting out, and I quote, stuff. Make of that what you will. He's also talking to a few players, we're told, as well. The goal kick to the Union. Hugo. Got fortunate with that one. Dunfield took a tumble as well. Had he not have, that could have been a problematic there.
Yeah, he's very fortunate on that one.
Ball over the top. Connor Casey rises unchallenged. It's Keon Daniel. Ball just ricocheting off his standing leg. Emery Walshman. Luis Silva in his second year in Major League Soccer. Ball over from Dunfield is a poor one. Over to the trialist Darryl Russell.
You know, we spoke about Luis Silva earlier on in this preseason tournament. He's going to have a big season for Toronto for them to do something special in terms of where their attack is coming from offensively and his creativity for them. So, yeah, very good season last season. Let's just see him carry that over for them to do big things and do something good in their conference this year.
Roger Torres coping with the physical presence of Jeremy Hall there. Keon Daniel has time to pick out the pass here. OD heads away. Hugo. Roger Torres just scooping the ball forward. Antoine Hoppeneau is offside. Again, a patient build-up from Philadelphia Union.
Yeah, but very clever play there by Kafes, and trying to find the run from the forward going through his offsides. It was going to make the defense think twice on that next run that he makes. Good play by the Philadelphia Union. They've looked very sharp this first 32 minutes.
So the Union leading Toronto FC by 1-0, courtesy of Antoine Hoppeneau's early goal in this game. MLS pre-season soccer, broadcasting on MLSsoccer.com from the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex in Kissimmee, Orlando, Florida. Callum Williams and Corey Gibbs, your commentary team. And once again, if you do have any questions for myself or Corey about Major League Soccer or this game or these two teams in particular, don't hesitate to tweet at us at CalWilliamsSKC, and we'll answer your questions as quickly as we can during the broadcast. Konopka getting us underway once again here. This is Matt Castle, a trialist who of course was with New York Red Bulls previously. Daniel advancing away from Dunfield. This is Roger Torres. Will have a drive here with the left foot. Goalkeeper seemed to have had that covered all the way through. Not That'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, but good attempt by the Union again. Good to see that from Torres and getting another shot on goal. Once again, Toronto's got to step to the ball. It's just been too easy for Philly to get those shots in the middle of the park like that. That's probably the third or fourth one in the middle of the park, right about the top of the 18. And it's either the two holding midfielders for Toronto have to drop back, or the two center backs in between O'Day and Gale have to step up to that ball. The communication has to be better.
Welshman accelerating past his man, but even that ball's too far away for the speedy Welshman to chase and catch. What of the other draft picks for Toronto FC? There is no question in my mind they were certainly the most successful team coming out of this year's Super Draft. They got exactly all the players they seemed to have wanted previously, and they got a really good midfielder in Kyle Becker as well. Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that they were targeting to get, and they picked them up, and they're happy with their draft pick. Right now, for me, he has more to prove in terms of trying to crack that starting 11, and I know I'm high on him, but Welshman right now for me, it wouldn't surprise me if he started off the season in their starting team at 11. He has some things he needs to fine-tune up, but that's nothing far-fetched from being a starting player. You look at the first 35 minutes of this game, and there's very few people you would pick as top players for Toronto, but Welshman for sure has been trying to at least be creative with his movements and try and do something special. So, kudos for the kid to try and take advantage of his opportunity right now. Of course, Toronto FC were confident enough they were going to get him. They traded their number 1 overall pick to New England Revolution and allow the Revolution to pick Andrew Farrell out of the University of Louisville, of course. Much expected of that young man this season. Here's Richard Eckersley. Stopped in his path by Keon Daniel. Now this is OD, the Republic of Ireland international. Jeremy Hall. Previously had spells at New York and FC Dallas as well as Portland. Eckersley. Union leading 1-0 now. Here's Dunfield. Effort from Silva. Ended up from a long way away. Yeah, but a bit better from Toronto. Get half a chance. Silva's just trying to take a far-range shot. Doesn't see any other option. He takes it on goal. It's not bad from the youngster. Do you get the feeling that man Konopka had it covered? Telling his players to push forward here. Casey. And OD pushing forward into nosebleed territory for a centre-half. Silva and Terry Dunfield. Russell. Emery Welshman gets a decent crossing. Goalkeeper rising above Louis Silva to claim. Michael Lahoud. Calfez, the Greek trialist for the Union. Michael Lahoud, the former Chivas USA midfielder. Connor Casey dropping deep. Forced deep as well due to the pressure from Busamonde. It's Roger Torres now for Philadelphia Union. Keon Daniel. Hugo. Anding. And Daniel once again here for the Union. It's been a good pre-season for Keon Daniel. Yeah, for sure it has been. I've always told you I'm high on him. Reminds me again of a young Shari Joseph who's not
so vocal, but in terms of his plays, he's a great player. It's exciting to see what he's going to do this season.
Here he is again. He'll find Anding. Decent cross looking for Connor Casey. He lays it up for Roger Torres, who just got it all wrong at the vital moment.
Yeah, but well done by Connor. Well done by Connor. Man, so big, just with such light feet, plays a great ball off to Torres, who just needed to put it on target. Guess he didn't expect that one coming.
Something for Bennett to chase here. Clipped the heels of Anding on the way through. Referee didn't like it, and the free kick is taken quickly.
I think the big question mark this year for Philadelphia Union is, are they going to be able to fill the shoes of Valdez this season?
Here's at the other end, it's Hoppano, and Torres skipping through. Roger Torres! A moment of extinct genius carved out from Roger Torres, and the Union lead 2-0.
Like I said, he's just somebody who's going to have to be big for them. I'm very, very high on this player. Early on in the preseason, wasn't getting much time with the first team, as we saw, and I knew he had to take advantage of his opportunity, and he's done exceptionally well, not only on the goal, but throughout this whole game and the last game that I seen him in the Disney Classic. Good job for Torres, and showing that he should be part of this starting team.
So the Union lead Toronto FC by 2-0 now in the first half. Roger Torres in his 4th year in Major League Soccer now. 56 career MLS appearances, restricted to just 1 start last season. Big year for Roger Torres in the midfield for Philadelphia Union. And a big next half, you would imagine, now for Toronto FC, who have some work to do to get themselves back into this one. And we have already addressed this situation, Corey, but due to the extensive amount of questions on Twitter, we'll deal to it in a second, as we saw the goal here. Roger Torres dinking his way through, smashing into the far corner. A lovely goal from Torres. But due to the extensive amount of questions we've had on this on Twitter, people asking your opinions on the Freddie Adu situation. We've already spoken about it a few days ago. It is an awkward one for the Union to deal with, but you have to say, if Roger Torres keeps playing like he has done this afternoon, it shouldn't be a problem.
No, for sure not. Why have a player on your team that you don't really particularly want there, regardless of how much money they're making? And in terms of Torres, I've always been high on him as a player, and he's proven himself, and he sees that he could take advantage of the opportunity now coming into this preseason. And from what we've seen,
ball in from Eckersley, well dealt with by Chris Albright, corner ball.
From what we've seen, he's done exactly that. So, all he has to do is worry about what he's doing on the field, keep playing, keep performing, and, Freddie Adu can't be an issue for them if they don't decide they want to take their future with him.
Corner to TFC. Silva, heads go up. Hall. And Albright with the right swing of the leg. Here's Connor Casey against Richard Eckersley. Straight away, the referee blowing the whistle. Foul given away by Richard Eckersley.
Well done by the big man there. He knew exactly what he was doing, shielding him off. Felt the defender on his back and just decides to take a dive on that one and draw the foul. So good job by Connor Casey. Not many chances on goal for him or shots on goal, but he's done a lot of the dirty work. It's been good. That's what you want from a forward.
Hoppano goes down under a late challenge from Terry Dunfield. Again, the decision goes in the way of the Union. Torres. A lot of new bodies coming in for Toronto FC this year, as is expected in an MLS off-season. But we've been asked on Twitter if Nelson is talking to players whilst in the UK, what position will be most beneficial for TFC to get a new signing in?
Anywhere would benefit, to be honest with you. But in terms of looking at the way their team is structured, you could definitely use another forward up top. Koverman's, hurt on the brink, so what's going to happen with him? You could definitely put him up top. that center back pairing is it's there, but is it strong enough? You definitely look at maybe needing another central defender or somebody in the rock in the middle of the midfield. You want to build the spine of your team, all the way through. So any three of those positions could definitely help. Stefan Fry is very unfortunate in the goal as of late. Do you look for a goalie? Who knows? But anywhere, through the spine of your team could always benefit.
Torres still slipping the ball through there for Connor Casey. The referee giving the free kick in the way of Toronto FC. This will be the last chance of the half. No additional minutes, we're told. And Busamonde pushes himself forward. You would expect a long ball here from the TFC backline contingency. Dunfield. All dealt with by Ukugo. Bennett rising. Welshman was in there as well. TFC still having a go here. Dara Russell. It's an awkward one. Just flies over the bar. Got a nick on the way through. A corner ball beckons.
Great strike on goal. I'm sure the deflection helped, but a good rattling shot in the last seconds of the half. And they get a corner kick out of it, maybe the last play of the half.
Luis Silva. Towards the front post. It's a poor delivery, and it's been a poor half for Toronto FC. They trail Philadelphia Union by 1-0 at half-time. Corey Gibbs, your thoughts on that first half?
I mean, just to reiterate what you said, Toronto needs to definitely pick it up this second half. I don't know if it's the coach is gone or what's going on, but they need to pick up what they're doing in terms of enthusiasm, their pressure, in terms of getting the ball and being more creative in the attack. But in terms of Philadelphia Union, they've done special things and 2 nice goals.
So half-time substitutes are imminent once again. We'll take a short commercial break here. Philadelphia Union leading Toronto FC by 2-0. Corey and I will see you all in the second half. Welcome back to the second half on MLSsoccer.com. Callum Williams and Corey Gibbs, your commentary team here. Philadelphia Union leading Toronto FC by 2-0. To our knowledge, there are going to be a few changes. Not sure who they are, but as soon as we have that knowledge, we'll let you know. Corey, if you are John Hackworth and you're leading Toronto FC by 2-0, what are you saying to your players at half-time?
We got to keep pushing for the next 45 minutes. We need to show that this season we're not letting down. We're going to keep going at teams, and we got to keep pressing the game, not to sit back and just let teams come at us. They had a very good first half, and they need to keep pushing it for the second half.
What about from the other side of things, Toronto FC? What are you saying at halftime?
It's too slow. It's way too slow. It's way too stagnant. You know, the play out of the back has just been from left to right, right to left. There's no creativity. They've just got to pick it up this half. I think Welshman's tried his best on the left-hand side to be creative, but it's got to come from the whole team and especially from the experienced players and trickle down to the youth. What
about the second goal from Roger Torres? It's safe to say he's had a fairly decent game, but that topped up a really good half of the Union, didn't it?
Oh, it was amazing. You know, the feet that he has and the confidence that he has to do that at his age in terms of where he was in the box at that time is just something special. And to put it away is just, you know, just rewarding for a player like that, and actually rewarding for the Philadelphia Union, who've kind of struggled in this preseason, to be honest. So it's good to see them up 2-0. Let's just hope that they could push on for the next half and keep it going.
So the second half then, only moments away here. Pre-season, broadcasting on MLSsoccer.com live from the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex in Kissimmee, Orlando, Florida. Callum Williams and Corey Gibbs, your commentary team here. Once again, if you do have any questions about this game, either team here, Philadelphia Union or Toronto FC, or Major League Soccer in general, don't hesitate to get in contact with us via Twitter. Tweet at us at CalWilliamsSKC. That's at CalWilliamsSKC. And myself and Corey will do our best to answer your questions throughout the broadcast. So here we go then. Toronto FC against Philadelphia Union. The second half imminent. Emery Welshman there in your screen had a decent first half, didn't he? The super draft pick. The referee checks with both goalkeepers. As the whistle to the mouth blows it, and away we go. The second half then, live from the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex. Toronto FC against Philadelphia Union. Busamonde to his centre-half partner, Darren O'Dea. O'Dea away from Connor Casey. Through the midfield here. This is Silva. Prodded away there by Antoine Hoppeneau. Opened the goal scoring this afternoon for the Union. Welshman trying to get the better of his man on that far side. Welshman, of course, a super draft pick this year for Toronto FC. There's Matt Castle, a trialist for the Union, formerly of New York Red Bulls, of course. So a free kick. Terry Dunfield stands over the ball off your screen. Dunfield. Decent ball played in towards that back post. It was well dealt with by Albright at the back post.
Yeah, well done by Philadelphia, but Toronto's just got to get more bodies in that box. There's got to be a late runner coming from the 18, maybe right in the center right there, and try and get ahead on that. It's too stagnant right now for Toronto. Good to pick the foul up early in the game and try and get something going.
Here's Eckersley. Looking for Bennett. The Union easily dispatched that threat of Toronto. Now it's Connor Casey. Thought the run had already appeared from Roger Torres, who, to be fair to him, does raise an apologetic right arm.
Definitely needs support. Somebody's got to be running off for him. Either Torres needs to run off for him, or Connor actually needs to hold that ball up and just wait for his support and cast to come. But he just can't. Connor doesn't have the speed to take it himself, and he needs to know what's around him.
There's Morgan on the far side, as well as Bennett. This is Terry Dunfield to Jeremy Hall. Asking a lot of the left-hand side contingency for Toronto, but Russell picks it up. Trialist, formerly of Norwich City, of course. Couldn't quite find the gap. From one trialist to another on opposite teams, the Union now have possession. Anding. Here is Anding again, of course, for the Union. Garth as a trialist from Greece. Casey doing what he's done for so many years in MLS by winning the ball in mid-flight. Castle. Torres, scorer of the second goal this afternoon, tried to slip it through for Antoine Hoppenote, well read by Russell, playing at left back. Played his trade in England in midfield for most of his career. Given a shot with TFC and MLS, at least for pre-season anyway. Cafes. Here is the Greek midfielder once again. We said earlier on, 7 years with AEK Athens in the top flight of Greek soccer. Now on trial with the Union. Okugo wants to leave the throw for Anding on the far side. Now it's Connor Casey trying to win the ball back from Eckersley. He does just that. Torres. Casey overlapping. Torres looking to create something here for the Union. Cafes slips it through. Chance here for the Union. Dealt with by Bruce Monde.
Definitely good build up there by the Philadelphia Union. You know, many options, good 1 and 2 touch, good creativity, good runs. Look very bright for the Union right there. Toronto just needs to do a better job of stepping on the ball and pushing their back line up and pushing their midfield up in terms of pressure. They're sitting back too deep and too much.
Tackle from Eckersley on Anding on the far side, of course selected as 26th overall in this year's Super Draft on Anding.
He's been good. He's definitely performed and shown well this game.
Here he is, the left back trying to play the ball in. Dealt with by Bennett on the far side. That'll be a corner.
See what bodies that the Union try to target here. Of course, Connor Casey's going to be a big body for them. Daniel. See if they could get something on the end of this one. Make it 3-0.
So Roger Torres here with the corner ball for Philadelphia Union. Torres towards the front post. It's allowed to bounce inside the area. Hoppenote lays it off. Low drive is dealt with, but the second one comes in and it goes all the way through. Matt Castle with a goal. The trialist impressing John Hackworth, and the Union now lead by 3.
Yeah, but great awareness by Matt Castle. I mean, he takes the first strike well, it bounces back to him with pace, hits it with his left foot, you know, goes right back left foot with the goalie on the ground, far post, or actually near post, and scores a goal. Good job for the trialists, and good job for the Philadelphia Union. 3-0. And they've looked bright.
Matt Castle on trial with John Hackworth's men. Things didn't work out for him at Red Bull Arena. Now given a chance and a potential route back into Major League Soccer. Has done well there to impress John Hackworth in his first full season as head coach of the Union. And Toronto FC have some work to do again. Welshman. All the way through here for Welshman. It's just prodded away from Welshman at the vital moment there by Okugo. Not sure how much he knew of it.
The big question is, where's Toronto going to get their attack from? It's been very, very stagnant. And Luis Silva needs to get in the game a bit more. You know, Welshman's trying. He's been, you know, a little bit slow in the second half. You know, Morgan's been quiet since the first 20 minutes of the game. And, you know, what are they going to do down that right-hand side with Bennett over there? So
Welshman to Silva. Now Morgan. Unable to find a route away from the Union's centre-back captain Albright. Lahoud quietly operating things in the midfield for the Union. Hoppano. The hood again. Trying to feed the ball through to the combination of Hoppano and Torres. Anding. The hood on the far side. Torres. Trying to get the better of Dunfield. He can't get the better of Hall though. Strong challenge that from Albright, an effective one as well. Here's Russell. And Luis Silva. Russell, in unfamiliar territory for him. Russell goes down under a challenge. Nothing given by the referee. Not the slightest bit interested.
Might have to agree with the referee there. I don't know if I'm calling that one, to be honest with you. Good no call by the ref.
Torres. Ball over the top. Lovely one as well for Anding. Don Anding just unable to find a way past Richard Eckersley on the far side. Connor Casey will chase down as well. The decision goes in the way of TFC in the end.
Again, good run by Don Anding. He's done well to get into the attack. He's been bright all game. It just shows that he's holding himself defensively structured, but still getting into the attack.
So here was the third goal then for Philadelphia Union. Matt Castle on trial with the Union. Unable to find a way through the first time. And if you fail the first time, try and try again. Castle made it 3-0. And Corey, we've seen Philadelphia Union a few times now during this Disney Pro Soccer Classic. What are they missing? Is there something they're missing? Because they are a young team, aren't they? And they have to play Sporting Kansas City on the opening day of Major League Soccer 2013. We all know over the last few years Sporting have impressed. Is there something else that you think the Union could do with?
Hey, I mean, it's still early in the preseason. The big question is going to be, is the central defense going to be strong enough for them this year? You know, with the loss of Valdez. I was high on him as a central defender, and he's gone. It's a missing piece for them. Can Park fill in and do exceptionally well there and fill the shoes that Valdez filled before? Can Connor Casey and Latu do well up top together? That combination is going to be huge. Can Torres step up to the plate that we hope he can do and be instrumental in the attack for them? So those are real big things that are going to be asked of the Union, and the coach, you know, having a new coach under the wing is going to be something you know, important for them to follow.
Hoppano battling with Welshman. Russell into Terry Dunfield. Hall to OD. Agbusamonde. Eckersley. Ashton Bennett. Looking for Luis Silva. Well dealt with by Albright, calmly and collectively as well. Carfez, the Greek trialist for the Union. Albright steps away well from Welshman. Castle. Kanopka. An awkward one there for the goalkeeper. Bennett. Able to find a way through. Trying to find Morgan on the edge. And the wind continues to flourish here in Orlando. Once again, apologies if you are picking up the wind on our microphones. as well for the wind blowing the cameras as well. We'll try and be as consistent as we can. Here's a chance now for Louis Silva and TFC. Silva blocked right at the last minute. And now it's Dunfield to the right-hand side for Bennett. The pass was poor, and that just about sums up Toronto FC's afternoon.
But better from Toronto. Very, very sharp on the counter attack. Did well in terms of finding options and playing one and two touch football. A good chance by Silva. Unfortunately it was blocked, and then the rebound comes out, and it's a poor ball that's played out wide.
There's a lovely ball through from the right-hand side. Louis Silva charged down. It's super defending from the Union, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Moby's done well with that one. But again, we need to see more from Toronto. It's been too stagnant, like we've said. It's been slow. It's just they're just playing in the motions right now. It looks almost like they're trying to get through with the 90 minutes. I don't know if it's being tired, being a preseason match or whatever it has to be. But these are the type of games that you need in terms of preparation going into the season. You need to show your coach why you want to start, and they don't have anything to really slag on. Really, they need to show why they need to do well this 2013 season.
So Terry Dunfield will line this one up for Toronto FC as the substitutions continue to warm up either side of us here. Dunfield in swinging ball, dealt with by Castle. Bennett is rising as well. Casey, and hooked away in the end. Now perhaps a chance for the Union once again here. Eckersley on defensive duties, does his due diligence there, just getting rid of the danger. Here he is again. Dunfield and Richard Eckersley. Keon Daniel, the Trinidad and Tobago international. Torres. Overlapping run from Anding was a good one.
Good ball movement. Definitely good ball movement by the Union there, with Anding coming out of the left back position.
Hoppano. Casey slips it through. It's Antoine Hoppano! It goes over the bar. And again, the movement and the combination between Hoppano and Casey, very impressive.
Definitely. Hoppano's done well with that one. Everything with a forward is getting that half a chance. You see, he didn't wait too long. He had half a chance, struck it well to the near post. Kind of like how he scored his goal with his left foot. So, well done by Hoppano there. And good combination play with Connor Casey up top.
It's a lovely flick through ball from Connor Casey. Hoppano perhaps slightly off balance there.
Yeah. A little leaning over the ball would have been a lot better for him, but
Daniel. Nice challenge there. Dunfield and Welshman the guilty parties. The Union eager to get proceedings underway quickly here. Carfez. Into Michael Lahoud. Keon Daniel. That was a good past several red Toronto jerseys. Here's Lahoud regaining possession. Composed defending from Busamonde.
well done by Busamonde. Showed good composure there for a young defender. It's exactly what you want in terms of your Toronto centre back.
Russell trying to get the better of Castle. Third goal scorer here for the Union this afternoon. No foul given. Chance for TFC. Silva, elegant back heel. And the back heel perhaps was so elegant, maybe even his teammates weren't expecting it.
That sums up the day that Toronto's had. You know, it's just things just haven't gone their way.
So Philadelphia Union leading Toronto FC by 3-0 here. Hoppano got us underway early in the first half. And in the first 3 or 4 minutes here, Roger Torres with the second, just before the stroke of half-time. And then, of course, Matt Castle in the second. Hoppano. Here's Castle again, asking a question of OD here. It's been an intriguing battle to watch this afternoon. OD against Connor Casey, very similar stature.
Yeah, but OD's done well with that play right there, and he's done well all game, to be fair. One of the standout players for Toronto FC. I think he's a given that's going to be in that starting 11 come the beginning of the season. I would have to say, you know, him and Abusamundo in the middle. Danny Califf puts up a good fight if he should be there, but I think those two have really structured themselves in terms of building that relationship with all the games that they've played in this preseason.
So a couple of substitutions coming on then for Toronto FC. You can see Reggie Lamb, Kyle Becker coming on as well, Jeremy Hall, Emery Welshman, Terry Dunfield and Ashton Bennett all coming off. Reggie Lamb and Kyle Becker already taken to the field. So a couple of more trialists for Toronto FC, Henrik Robstad and Jonathan Bellew-Bourgault. I beg your pardon, it is only Bellew-Bourgault who's come on at left back now. There is Dunfield departing the pitch. Andrew Weidman, the other player coming on for TFC. Greg Jordan is set to come on for Philadelphia. It's Chris Albright coming off.
Albright's had a solid game. He's played a strong 65, experienced player right back. Like we said, he's played up top, he's played in the midfield, and today at center back. I think he's played a solid game for them, for their union.
So Albright, the MLS veteran, goes off, and Greg Jordan, in his second year in Major League Soccer, drafted out of Creighton University last year, will come on. Of course, he was a part of the team that were defeated 4-0 by Columbus Crew on Wednesday afternoon, part of that young Philadelphia side that were comprehensively beaten. Other way around this afternoon. Here's Becker, third overall pick this year in the Super Draft. Busamonde. Silva. Looking to find Morgan. Hugo is there to almost dance around Reggie Lamb. Hugo. It's well to find Connor Casey. And now Roger Torres battling with Lamb on the far side. Becker. Eckersley. Low effort from Silva. Like a pinball machine for a split second there. Late challenge there on Roger Torres, and straight away the referee with the whistle to mouth and the free kick awarded to the Union. Danny Califf is set to come on for Toronto FC. Perhaps we now may see the other side of things in terms of the centre-half partnership that could potentially start for Toronto FC at the start of the season. He'll be coming on in a few moments.
You know, we speak about players that need to make an impact for Toronto this season, and I really feel like Reggie Lamb's another young player with talent that needs to just be very exciting to watch and perform well for this team to do well. You know, he's young in stature and he's young in his experiences, but he has to come out and have a good season for them and be creative and not only score goals, but, you know, play a lot of balls in and get a lot of assists for them for Toronto, for Toronto's attack. You know, exciting player to watch, young, and, you know, he has his bit of European experience playing in England, so he's to carry those over to this season for Toronto FC.
Well, there's Califf and Derek Bassey, an academy player from British Columbia. And the two centre-halves, Odi and Busamonde, have gone off. And it's now a new central defensive partnership. An MLS veteran in the shape of Danny Califf and a youngster in Derek Bassey. Are we reading too much into it there, Corey? Is this a sign of things to come, potentially for Toronto FC, that they could start their season with the first set of centre-halves that we've seen this afternoon?
For sure. You know, I wouldn't doubt it one bit. We've seen all preseason they've played that pairing for the most part, and as a team, that's where you need to base your team from, the two center backs. And in my experiences over the years, that's how it's been. That pairing has to be ready in terms of coming into the start of the season, and that's what we've seen these past games. So, wouldn't surprise me one bit that that's going to be the pairing with O'Day and Awusamando.
Reggie Lamb thought about the shot for a little while, didn't he? Goes down under a challenge. Referee again, not interested here. Torres. This is Hoppano. And eventually the foul was called. And rightly so as well.
Yeah, definitely a foul there on Hoppano. Defender didn't have a chance on that ball, and he just kept pulling his shoulder. But before that, Lahoud played a nice little cheeky ball into him, that's spinning right to his feet. So it's good attack for them.
So despite scoring 3 goals against Orlando City on Wednesday, Toronto FC, in their other 2 games thus far, have yet to score. Do you foresee goal scoring being a problem for them this season?
By the looks of things now, yeah. You know, I'm asking myself where the goal is going to come from, to be honest with you. You know, Luis Silva's been quiet. You know, Reggie Lam, Welshman, they're young players. These are young guys, and you have Justin Braun who's going to step in shortly. But where are the goals going to come from? It's a big question mark. In terms of, and it should be a worry for Toronto FC. Maybe that's what Ryan's seeking out now, but by the looks of things, that's definitely an area that they need to improve with Koverman's hurt.
Because, of course, they let go Eric Arsley, a designated player. He went down to FC Dallas, of course. Would you imagine potentially, and we are saying potentially here, that maybe Ryan Nelson is looking at a new designated player?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I think that's exactly what his focus is. You need to score goals to win games and keep balls out of the net to win games. So I think that's definitely an area that they need to improve. And, you know, he's played in this profession long enough to know that that's what they definitely are trying to seek and win games and definitely the championship.
Justin Braun is coming on as well for Toronto FC. Perhaps this is where the goals may come from finally this year for Toronto FC. Justin Braun, not been the most comprehensive in front of goal for the last few years, but potentially, with the right amount of service, this could be his season. Yeah,
definitely. It needs to be a season for scoring goals. Is he going to give you 20 goals a season? I'd highly doubt it, but he's going to give you all the hard work, the scrappiness, the fight, the battle, the things to make, you know, the opponents just definitely want to not play against him. And I definitely look forward to him scoring, you know, at least, you know, 10 goals for them this season and doing something special, either coming off the bench or starting.
Here's Reggie Lamb. Trying to cause a problem here. It's an excellent standing challenge there.
Great challenge by the defender there. For me, Anding's been, you know, top defender, if not top player for the Philadelphia Union. Very, very standout player for a rookie. Ball in from Becker, out swinging. Found Califf in the effort. There's a low one.
It's dealt with by the Union and Roger Torres. Ball over the top. This will be Justin Braun's first interaction of the afternoon. Weidman floats it towards the back post. There's far too much on it. Reggie Lamb makes an effort to keep the ball in. He couldn't. Keeps it from going out for a goal kick though. More substitutions arriving for Toronto FC. This is Henrik Robstad coming on. Well, here we have the goals that so far give Union a 3-0 lead. Antoine Hoppeno with the first one, a lovely finish to the left-hand side of the goalkeeper. And the second one wasn't too bad either, was it? Nor the third. We'll have a look at those a little later. And for those of you wondering, it's Daniel Fabrizi coming on for Toronto FC as well as a trialist, Henrik Robstad. There seems to be a whole roster change, a whole starting 11 change for the Union. Tons of players about to come on. We'll do our level best to try and find out who is coming on. You can see Chandler Hoffman is one of those players. So John Hackworth is convinced his arguably first side have seen this game out. Now it's down to the rest. Stephen Okai is coming on, as well as Chase Harrison, the goalkeeper. Eric Shanley comes on as well, the centre half. Jim McLaughlin there on your screen coming on as well. Leo Fernandez as well, another supplemental pick has come on. So a whole host of new players for Philadelphia coming on.
I think that starting team for Philadelphia Union did a great job today. Good solid 75 minutes. Now it's just a time for the coach to get a look at the other maybe trialists or other players that are trying to find themselves on a team and go from there. But that 75-minute team that came on did an exceptional job.
So a free kick. All Toronto FC. Danny Califf, of course, won MLS Cup with LA Galaxy in 2002. Weidman. This is Kyle Becker. Okay. Shane Lee, supplemental pick this year. Fernandez. And Brucey there with a strong challenge. And Fernandez battling again. Danny Califf, of course, playing against his former club. Whilst we're on the subject of Philadelphia Union. Of course, John Hackworth is now the latest addition in a whole host of young American coaches coaching in Major League Soccer. Is he the right man?
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. You know, I think they've gone in.
Fernandez with a strike. It's behind for a corner.
I think they've gone in the right direction in terms of picking him, in terms of the players liking who he is as a coach. It's a different battlefield when you're playing in season and times are going hard and you have a 3 game losing streak or something like that. So time will tell. But in terms of the initial decision, I think it was the right choice for the Philadelphia Union, and I think he'll do an exceptional job, to be honest.
Corner ball then for the Union, and a chance here for number 4 perhaps, with 12 remaining. Easily dealt with. Here's McLaughlin for the Union. And Fernandez is offside. The linesman raising his flag. So Joe Bendick will get us underway again here. The Union leading Toronto FC by 3-0. Joe Bendick, a long ball forward, the man from New York. Ball on that far side. Okay, to Jordan. Eric Shanley. Stephen O'Kay. Battles off the challenge of Darryl Russell. Of course, now playing in midfield for TFC, where he's played his whole career. Okay. Selected as 31st in this year's Super Draft. Now he gave him the Union again. Becker. Russell taking charge in midfield. Reggie Lamb, the Bermuda international. Too strong of a challenge there on Braun from Jordan, according to the referee. Free kick. Braun did have a good year in 2010 with Chivas, scoring 11 goals, but he's struggled since. Here he is. Braun! Decent save from the goalkeeper, just tipping the ball away.
Great attempt. Great attempt and great run by Justin Braun. You know, that's exactly what Toronto needs. Some type of boost. Sometimes a push, you know, that's probably the best chance that they've had all game. And, you know, it's come in the 80th minute, so.
Braun just tipping the ball.
Yeah, good run, good shot on goal, but exceptional save by the goalkeeper also.
Goalkeeper Harrison with the save. Corner ball beckons here. Becker dealt with. Danny Califf was there at the front post. Here's Becker again. Now it's Reggie Lamb. Braun backtracking, perhaps a sign of early frustration for him. And now it's the Union's turn. Is there one more goal in this, I wonder? Toronto FC looking to answer some questions that perhaps they have yet to answer from last year. Trailing the Union by 3-0 here. Lamb.
They've just been off key all game. I think Toronto just can't find an answer of where they're trying to get their attack from. It's been stagnant. No creativity. It just shows right there. This pass is just going straight out of bounds. You'd have figured in the 82nd minute things would have been better, but it almost seems like it's getting worse.
Shane Lee. Well, Jordan got fortunate with that, didn't he? Still a chance though for TFC. McLaughlin asking a question or two of Harrison. Moments of uncomposed play there from the Union.
Yeah, very sloppy play. Very sloppy play. Very uncharacteristic of how this game has been going for them. See if Toronto could get on the back of one of these and put one on the scoreboard before the end of the game at least.
Becker. Dealt with by Shane Lee, who was rising.
Definitely a good ball in though by Becker.
Weidman. Braun to Reggie Lamb. Darryl Russell. He's forced to go back to Derek Bassey. And now Danny Califf. Fabrizi. Fabrizi backtracking here as the Union push forward. Strong challenge in midfield. Russell. And Justin Braun. Braun. With his fourth club in Major League Soccer, of course. After spells with Montreal, Salt Lake, and of course Chivas USA, where he started his career. Balling from the right-hand side.
Great ball in though by Justin Braun. Play's been a bit better by Toronto in these last 5 minutes. You can see the movement by Justin Braun, dropping into the midfield, getting balls, going out wide, playing balls in the box. He's been probably the key player for them, and I think Becker's been also solid in terms of what he's done since he's been in terms of his services also in the box. So it's good to see from Toronto.
Okay. McLaughlin. Touch just lets down the youngster. Weidman. And here come Toronto FC. Looking for something. Kyle Becker. Through the legs of Okai. Becker down the right. Stern challenge from Greg Jordan. The Union just keep fighting back. Ball forward again. Goalkeeper comes a long way and does well at the edge of his penalty area.
Definitely a good ball in though. Streak and run there in the middle of the park. Try to split the two center backs, and keeper made a good decision to come out and clear that one out. Could have been trouble for them.
Jordan. Eric Shanley for Stephen Okai. Ball forward is a poor one, and that'll easily be dealt with. Today there has been little to suggest that Toronto FC are yet to be rid of any of their problems from last season. They looked impressive against Orlando City, but today they have been a shadow of what they were on Wednesday evening.
It's been very streaky. It's ups and downs and ups and downs. They need to have a consistent role coming into this 2013 season. Definitely need to turn things around. It's too big of an organization, too big of a fan base to let them down, and I think Ryan Nelson will get it right. I think in due time he'll get it right to know that consistency needs to form throughout the team and not have complacency, because today is just not a good performance.
Union looking for a foul there. Referee just points confidently to the corner spot. So just over a minute and a half remaining. No added time, we're told. Quite sure Toronto FC will be happy about that. Corner from the left-hand side. Nodded on. Not dealt with. It's Wyden at the back there, just smashing away. Throwing in the way, or free kick, I beg your pardon, in the way of Toronto FC. Brawn rising. Smashed away eventually. Derek Bassey. Bassey, the academy player once again. The long ball forward. Easily dealt with by supplemental pick Shane Lee. Chase Harrison will just knock a few more seconds off the clock. So Chase Harrison is the last player to touch the ball. Well, it's been a frustrating afternoon once again for Toronto FC. As we said earlier, they've looked a shadow of what they were on Wednesday. They defeated Orlando that night. Today, they've been defeated comprehensively by Philadelphia Union by 3-0. Corey, your views?
Yeah, I think Philadelphia Union played a exceptionally well played match. Torres definitely shined and did what he had to do in terms of proving to the coach why he needs to be in the starting 11. So I think attacking-wise, they look sharp. Toronto, definitely a lot of things that they need to work on. But in terms of a bright spot, I think Justin Braun came in and played well for the time that he got in the game.
Well, Corey Gibbs, thank you very much for your involvement. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed it?
Yeah, definitely. And thanks for having me.
Absolutely. That's the ex-Chicago Fire centre-half Corey Gibbs with us here on MLSsoccer.com. Coming up next at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, it is Orlando City against Columbus Crew. Myself and Jake Yardrich will have your call. We'll see you all at 6 o'clock for Orlando City against Columbus Crew. Final score here, Philadelphia Union 3, Toronto FC 0.